They didn't raise their voices. They never had to. A glance was enough, a smirk, a whisper meant to travel just far enough. I didn't know he could afford to be here. Andrew heard it. He always did. He pulled the chair back calmly, sat down without hesitation, and paid for the dinner anyway. No one noticed. For years, Andrew had occupied a very specific place in the family, not the failure. That would have required confrontation. He was something quieter than that. The one who never quite made it. Whenever his name came up, the tone softened automatically. Andrew's a good man. He just didn't push himself enough. He's comfortable with less. Those phrases followed him everywhere, at birthdays, at holidays, at casual Sunday lunches that slowly turned into unspoken evaluations of everyone's life. Andrew never argued with any of it. He learned early that correcting people didn't change their minds. It only made them defend their assumptions harder. So he let them believe whatever felt easiest. There was always someone to measure him against. A cousin who bought a house earlier than expected. A brother-in-law whose career climbed loudly and publicly. A nephew who talked about promotions before Andrew had even finished his coffee. Andrew listened. He nodded at the right moments, smiled when expected, clapped when success was announced. When someone asked what he was working on, his answer was always simple. Just staying busy. That sentence became part of his identity. No one ever followed up. Despite everything they believed about Andrew, one detail never changed. When the bill arrived, his hand moved first. Not hurried, not performative, just automatic. Someone would always protest. "Oh no, Andrew, don't worry about it. We'll split it." But the receipt would already be folded, the payment already done. "Taken care of," he'd say calmly. They assumed pride or stubbornness, or maybe a credit card that hadn't reached its limit yet. They never asked how, and Andrew never volunteered an explanation. Andrew lived simply. Same car for years. Nothing flashy, nothing new. But there were small inconsistencies, details no one paid enough attention to. He never hesitated around numbers, never calculated aloud, never asked for time. When paperwork appeared, he read it slowly, thoroughly, too thoroughly for someone who was supposedly bad with money. Once, during a heated family discussion about a legal issue, Andrew said quietly, "That clause wouldn't hold if it were challenged." Laughter followed immediately. "What would you know about that?" Andrew shrugged. "Just something I picked up." They moved on. Another time, a cousin complained for nearly an hour about a failed investment. Andrew listened without interrupting, asked 2 questions, then said nothing else. Months later, that same cousin realized the exact mistake, the same one Andrew had quietly circled without ever naming. No one connected it back to him. It was easier not to. Over time, something shifted. They stopped asking Andrew's opinion altogether. Decisions were made before he arrived, plans finalized without his input. They spoke about him as if he wasn't sitting right there. "He's lucky we help him. He wouldn't manage on his own. He should be grateful we include him." Andrew never interrupted, not once. When holidays came, money became an open conversation. Budgets discussed loudly, limits established publicly. Someone joked, "We shouldn't expect much contribution from Andrew." Andrew nodded calmly. "I understand." And still, every deposit was paid, every venue secured, every unexpected expense covered. Always early, always quietly. They thanked each other, never him. Andrew didn't live a dramatic life. He woke early, worked steadily, returned home without complaint. There was no visible struggle, no debt collectors, no frantic phone calls, no signs of panic, just a quiet consistency that contradicted everything they believed about him. But consistency doesn't impress people. Visibility does. And Andrew had chosen invisibility a long time ago. The celebration was meant to be impressive, a major milestone, a venue that required months of planning, a guest list carefully filtered. The family argued for weeks about money, about who could afford what, about what could be cut, about who should contribute more. Then suddenly the tension disappeared. A solution appeared, a private sponsor, someone who wanted no recognition. The deposits were paid in full, the contracts signed early. No questions asked. Andrew said nothing. The night of the event arrived. Andrew showed up quietly. His suit wasn't extravagant, but it fit perfectly. Someone whispered, "Did you see what he's wearing?" Another chuckled softly. "Probably rented." Andrew heard it. He didn't react. He greeted people politely, stayed near the edges of the room, observed more than he spoke, completely at ease, as if places like this were not unfamiliar. As drinks loosened tongues, subtlety faded. Someone finally said what others had been thinking all night. "You do realize this place costs more than you make in a year, right?" A pause. Laughter followed. Andrew nodded calmly. "I do." They mistook his calm for embarrassment. Another voice joined in. "At least tonight you get to feel what success looks like." Andrew smiled gently. "Yes," he said, "I recognize it." That made them laugh harder. They thought they had him figured out. They always did. Andrew stood there, surrounded by people who believed they understood him. Every assumption, every judgment, and for the first time that night, someone felt it. Something didn't sit right. The way he stood, the way he listened, the way none of the comments seemed to reach him. But the thought passed quickly. People trust their assumptions more than their instincts. The room grew louder as the night went on. Music rose, glasses refilled, laughter became less careful. Andrew remained exactly the same, calm, attentive, unmoved. He watched people change as alcohol stripped away their filters. How respect shifted depending on who they believed mattered. He had seen it before, more times than they could imagine. Someone brought up the sponsor again. "Whoever paid for all this must be desperate for attention," a voice joked. "Or guilty," another added. Andrew listened. They speculated loudly, guessed wildly. A company trying to look generous, a rich friend seeking relevance, a tax write-off. No one considered the quiet man standing a few steps away. That idea didn't fit the story they liked. A relative leaned closer to Andrew. "You should be grateful," they said softly, as if offering advice. "People like us don't always get opportunities like this." Andrew met their eyes. "I am grateful," he said. They mistook honesty for submission. Another person joined in. "You know, when this night is over, everything goes back to normal." A pause. "For you, at least." Andrew nodded once. "Yes," he said, "it does." They laughed. As the evening approached its final stretch, the coordinator prepared to close the event. There were forms to finalize, documents to archive, accounts to reconcile. Routine, boring, the kind of moment no one paid attention to until she stopped walking. She looked down at the folder in her hands, checked the page again, then looked up. Her eyes went straight to Andrew. "Excuse me," she said, uncertainty in her voice. "I just need one final confirmation." The room barely noticed. She stepped closer. "All final payments, ownership confirmations, and long-term agreements are registered under your name." Silence. Someone laughed, assuming it was a joke. "That can't be right," a voice said. The coordinator frowned. "It is," she replied. "These records go back years." She turned the folder around. Dates, amounts, signatures, not just this event, patterns. Andrew's name appeared again and again. The laughter died. People leaned forward instinctively, trying to understand, trying to correct what they were seeing. A relative spoke carefully. "There must be some confusion." The coordinator shook her head. "No confusion. Everything is verified." Andrew stood up calmly. "There's no need to continue," he said. "It's already settled." His voice didn't rise, it didn't shake. It carried the weight of someone used to closing things quietly. No one spoke for several seconds. Then someone finally asked it. "Andrew, why didn't you ever say anything?" The room waited. Andrew looked around slowly, at the faces that had judged him, measured him, dismissed him. "I never said I was broke," he replied. Nothing else. That single sentence rewrote years. Every dinner, every joke, every assumption. The way he paid without comment. The way he listened without correcting. The way he allowed them to believe what made them comfortable. Someone whispered, "We treated you like you were nothing." Andrew nodded. "You treated me like you thought I was." There were no dramatic apologies, no emotional speeches, just discomfort, people searching for words they didn't deserve to say. Andrew didn't wait for them to find them. He picked up his coat. He left before dessert, didn't look back, didn't pause. Outside, the air was cool, quiet. He breathed deeply for the first time that night. Silence had always been his choice, not a weakness, a filter. Inside, the celebration continued, awkwardly. The music felt louder, the laughter forced. Everyone carried the same thought. How many moments had they misread? How many people had they measured incorrectly? Andrew was gone, and with him, the comfort of their assumptions. Some people don't lose in silence, they choose it, and sometimes the greatest mistake isn't underestimating someone, it's believing you ever understood their story at all.